And here's Kimberly, another new person.
Okay, 1 more minute and we will begin.
This is Steve Elmore. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know where my video is. I don't know why it's coming on, but or not coming on. But.
Well,
if it works like my video, sometimes I have to leave the room and come back, and turn my camera on before I can come back, and it's a pain.
Okay, so we have, I should bring up my spreadsheet of, okay. We have Stephen Elmore, we have Margaret, we have Kimberly.
Okay, it's 10 o'clock. Let's roll. Do you want to start, Steve?
I would like to welcome everyone to our training session. I am Steve Cohen, in case you have not met me before. I am the district coordinator who's trying to get this show on the road. Our training this year is going to be virtual as opposed to in person, though I know some of the sites are doing some in-person get-togethers. With that, unless anyone has any questions for me, I will turn it back over to Pat, who's going to run the session. And I will be monitoring the chat board, so if you have questions, I will take care of it.
Okay, so first thing that I would like to do is for everybody to turn their camera on, and because I want to get a look at everybody, and just have each person turn their microphone on also, and just give me a little bit about your background. How did you find us? What do you know about taxes? What are your computer skills like? So that I can get a better idea of how much help you may need, and maybe you don't need any. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, my name is Stephanie, and I've been doing taxes for several years.
Right. Okay. So you're just joining us today for what reason?
Refresh some areas that I still have trouble with.
And that's fine.
So I'll be here
fine.
for today and today and tomorrow for part of the days.
Right. Just because I'm the trainer does not mean I'm an expert. I'm
Okay.
a facilitator. And I never, in no way, shape, or form do I consider myself an expert. But
no.
If you ask me a question, I will go find the answer for you.
Thank you. I just have a hard time getting started every year, so this will help me, I think.
Okay. All right. Who else would like to take a turn?
I'll chime in. That picture you're looking at, I can't get video to work. It's about 10 years ago, so I look 10 years older than that. So I worked in IT for my normal career. Then I did taxes for H&R Block, sort of part-time, but really became full-time when I didn't want it to. But I probably did that for more than 10 years.
Okay.
So I have some tax background, although when this tax season ends, it never enters my mind again until this time of the year. So you do taxes intensely for 4 months, and then you never think about it again for 8.
That's right. You don't. I do.
Yeah.
I start around August 1st when I'm thinking about it, but that's okay too. All
Pat, just a suggestion. Why don't you, since everyone's boxes look different on our screens, why don't you call on people directly?
Okay. Kim, you're next.
Hi, I'm Kimberly. I work for the Pennsylvania State House of Representatives. So my computer skills are fantastic. My tax skills, well, that's another story. But I've done my husband and I's self-employment taxes and our own taxes for 15 plus years. So I am, somewhat acquainted with the process. Definitely have a knack for numbers. So this is kind of a first for me, but I'm excited to do whatever I can to help our constituents.
Okay. Thank you very much. Margaret?
Hi, I am Margaret. I do not use Google Chrome that much. I don't know if I have video or not. Doesn't look like it. and I used to do my own taxes, and that's it.
Okay, thank you. How'd you find us?
Through Alan.
Through Alan Baum?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Alan, that's your turn then.
Okay.
Just tell us who you are.
Okay, I'm Alan Baum. I'm the local coordinator at the Squirrel Hill site. And I'm here in part to see who all else is here. Particularly, we have a number of possible new volunteers, and I'd like to just check up to make sure that they're here. So far, several of them aren't here, but obviously I hope we can do better.
Right, okay. Thank you. Alan Vento, introduce yourself, please.
Good morning. As you know, Pat, I came on board last year, kind of quick. So you sort of guided me through that January to get certified. And I just thought I would see what this is all about, since I kind of didn't come in on the regular channels.
Okay.
But I'm retired, and I like helping people, and I enjoyed working last year with you and the other guys at our site in Monroeville, and looking forward to doing it again.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm getting lost here. Who have I missed?
Diana Pravada. I can't get my video to work neither.
Okay.
I tried to volunteer last year. I had just retired. I used to do taxes about 30 years ago for a public accounting firm, but
Okay.
so I have, but it's been a long time. I am an accountant, but I focus more on financial reporting. So, but,
Okay.
interested in trying to help this year.
Thank you. Okay. And Leslie, did I miss you?
She's muted.
You're muted. You have to unmute yourself if you want to speak, Leslie. At the bottom of your screen, there's a little microphone in the left-hand icon. If you click it, it should give you ability to speak. Or not. Okay. All right, I'm just going to move forward. Now that I know a little bit about each one of your backgrounds, I am going to ask you, whoops, Stephanie's back. Stephanie, we already heard from you, right, or not?
Yes.
Yes, you have.
I
You've
thought
heard
so.
from me.
I thought so. Okay, thank you. All right, so I am now going to ask everyone to please turn their cameras off. It preserves bandwidth for when I do presentations. They will run more smoothly.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Go ahead, Leslie. Okay, not. All right, I am going to go into presentation mode now. The first thing we want to do is make sure that you understand what the ethics of our program are all about. And so I'm going to give you a presentation on the volunteer standards of conduct, which I think you would probably know to be very similar from organization to organization, but it's very important that you understand them and are able to apply them all during your volunteer work. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go into presentation mode, and I'm going to shut down some other things here on my own screen. All right, someone let me know if you can see the presentation, please.
I can see it.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you. Okay. If you have any questions as I'm presenting, you can either raise your hand or you can type them in the chat bar at the right. If you move down toward the bottom of your screen, there's a little bubble down there, and if you just click on that, it'll show the chat. It'll show the chat place, and you can just type your question at the bottom, and then press enter, and it will go up.
And I will pay
Yeah.
attention to the chat
Thank
to
you.
see if people have comments.
Right, because I can't see the chat bar while I'm presenting. So this is about tax aid policies and procedures, and I call this a review because it's something that we go over every year with every volunteer. And I'll be doing it, and you'll also see it in another place before the end of the season too. What's our program objective? We want to be able to provide service for taxpayers, of course, and to do it in caring, courteous ways. This is what our program looks like. We are working under the umbrella of the IRS and AARP Foundation. IRS gives us the volunteer standards of conduct, that's what this is, and quality site requirements, which I am also going to go over today. And AARP Foundation gives us program policies and taxpayer information responsibilities and an incident report protocol. If we have any problems, we have to write it up and send it on its way. So where do we get all this information? From the Policy and Procedures Manual. You can get it at the portal, and I'll explain to you later what the portal is and how to access it. This is what our program looks like. I know this is really small for you, but I just wanted to let you know each one of these rectangular boxes represents a volunteer that has a different position in the program. And you are way up at the top, the second one from the left. And you report to that first black box, the local coordinator, who will be working at your site. There might also be a client facilitator at your site, but that client facilitator also reports to the local coordinator. The local coordinator reports to the district coordinator, which our district coordinator is Steve Cohen. He's with us here in the room today. And all along the way, there are other specialist sorts of persons, tech specialists, training specialists. I'm the training specialist for, not only am I the instructor for our district, but I'm also the training specialist for all of Western Pennsylvania. So my rectangle is right here, right now. I've been doing this for about 6 years. And then as the district coordinators report to the state coordinator reports to the regional coordinator, and then regional coordinator reports to AARP Foundation, and that's where you're going to see the paid people. There's only a handful, and you can always tell who the paid people are because they're always very young, because the people that are volunteering are, for the most part, retired. So that's what our organization looks like. How many volunteers is this? It used to be 35,000. With COVID, it may be a little less. I don't know. But it's a fairly large organization. We have representation in all 50 states. Sorry, someone else is coming in. Every year, we go over the volunteer standards of conduct that the IRS tells us about, and we sign a form that says we agree to the volunteer standards of conduct, that we agree not only to them, but to carry them out. This is just a little bit about what the form looks like. This is the front of the form number 13615. Again, this is from the IRS. The form itself hasn't changed that I know of in all the years I've worked for them. So, what is number 1? To follow the quality site requirements. Number 2 is for us to not accept payment of any kind, not money, not things, not cookies, although, you know what, it's really hard to say no to food when people bring it in, just to be polite. We must not solicit business from our taxpayers. We must not knowingly prepare false returns. There's always that situation where we can go, I didn't know about it. But there are times when we do know about it, and then we have to put that information into the return. We must not engage in criminal, infamous, dishonest, notoriously disgraceful conduct, and that means inside and outside of our organization as well. If I see your picture or name in the news, you're done. We must treat all taxpayers in a professional, courteous, and respectful manner. So in detail, what are these quality site requirements? They help ensure quality and accuracy of tax return preparation. And they also make our sites be consistent from site to site. So if you were volunteering at one site and you needed to go to a different site, the operation should be very, very similar and you should fit in very easily. So as a volunteer, we all agree to comply with and follow the 10 quality site requirements because that is what the standard of conduct number 1 is all about. And here are the quality site requirements. Certification, intake interview, quality review, confirming photo ID and taxpayer ID numbers, the reference materials that we have available, signing the volunteer agreement, timely filing, civil rights, correct site ID numbers, which are going to be automatically applied. We don't need to worry about that. And correct electronic filing numbers as well. And just security of equipment, of taxpayer information. QSR number 1, the volunteer certification. I've already talked about this. You can find a copy of this in publication 6744. This also is an IRS publication. It's online, electronic, and it's also in paper. We also have a website where we can go to take our test electronically. We can take it in paper in 6744. We can take it electronically at linklearncertification.com. Talk to you more about that in a few minutes. So all tax aid volunteers must annually complete the IRS Volunteer Standards of Conduct training and pass the associated IRS test with a score of 80% or better. It's a 10-question test, so that means you have to have at least 8 correct. You have 2 chances to do it, and you won't need it. I mean, their questions are pretty straightforward, they're not tricky, and it's an open book test. In addition, the local coordinators, shift coordinators, client facilitators must also annually take the complete intake interview quality review training and pass an associated IRS test with a score of 80% or higher. Again, I believe that one's a 10-question test also. You only need to get 8 right. In addition, if you are a counselor, which that's what you are planning to be, instructor, TRC, TRS, ERO, you must pass the advanced tax law test with a score of 80% or higher. This year there are 35 questions on that test, so you can figure out how many you are allowed to be able to miss to still be able to be considered passing. And we also do a certain number of practice returns. Our required number this year is 4, and we'll go over that with you in detail later too. All counselors must prepare only tax returns that are in scope. And we're going to be talking more about in scope, out of scope. Basically, in scope means that it's what we're trained to do. And if it's out of scope, it means we weren't trained that way. The Volunteer Protection Act of 1997 will cover us in most circumstances if we acted within the scope of our program and we did not intend to harm or do any unlawful actions. Quality site requirement number 2, the intake interview quality review process. Everyone must use the current intake booklet. I'm going to show you that in a few minutes. We must complete the entire intake and interview process for every return. And I will point out the new or changed information on that form, although it will be meaningless to you if you've never seen it before. The quality review process requires 100% review of every tax return by a second independent tax preparer. with the taxpayer. And in the end, we have to remind the taxpayer that the return is their responsibility and not ours, that it's only as correct as the information that they share with us. Quality site requirement number 3 is photo ID of the taxpayer and identification numbers that we verify them. Even if we know the taxpayer, we still go through that process of looking at their ID, matching their address with forms that they're bringing us, matching their photo to their face. And we need to see the Social Security card of every taxpayer who is named on the return. And I lost my train of thought. There are exceptions to that. Quality site requirement number 4 is the reference materials that we have available at the site. There are some requirements like IRS Pub 17, 4299, 4012. And these, we can have these on our Chromebooks. We don't need paper versions. Some state tax instructions, which we have a manual, and there again, it's electronic. The cyber tax alerts, the local coordinator will make sure that these are available. And your quality site requirement number 5 is your signature on the volunteer agreement. And your signature on your agreement is at the local site. Every time you're working, it's there. It's probably on your local coordinator's computer, but it's there. Quality site requirement number 6 is timely filing of tax returns. I would say, 90% of the time, a tax return is filed as the taxpayer is walking out the door or that same evening. Occasionally, we get a reject, and we follow up and get it resolved in a timely manner. Quality site requirement number 7 is about civil rights. The sites must provide information to taxpayers regarding their civil rights. And basically, I think this is about required posters that we are supposed to have at the sites. Some things I don't read. This one is number D143. Quality site requirement number 8 and number 9 are having identification numbers available on the tax returns that we complete and as they're sent. And this is done through the software, so we really don't need to worry about this. Quality site requirement number 10 is about security, privacy, confidentiality. We never retain any taxpayer data or documents at any time. If we have had to print and then reprint for some reason or other, then we generally just rip it in half and give it back to the taxpayer and let them take care of it. This year we are required to have shredders at our sites, but I'm not sure how much use they're really going to get. But that's not a problem, and not at the site where I work at anyway. We must always wear name ID tags with our first name and last initial only. We keep confidential the personal information about other volunteers. And we must promptly submit incident reports if there was any lost data. And that goes for equipment as well. If we do need to follow up with a taxpayer on a rejected return, we must speak with them and identify ourselves and ask for identifying information from the taxpayer as well, so that we know that we're really talking to the taxpayer. We would never send any personal information in an email. The security of taxpayer accounts and personal information is top priority with us. I mean, like, so top priority that our Chromebooks are extremely, like, there's not too much ways I think that you could break into them. And they wipe them clean every year, so there's not the possibility of anything on them. They even wipe away what's in the cloud that we've created out there. So what can you do to help with security? Make sure all computers are running latest security updates. Make sure we don't use them for personal use at any time. No gaming, nothing like that. And one other thing we are not supposed to do is use personal computers to access TaxSlayer production site. And we must use a TaxAid router with security on it, like hotspots. And we must not use public Wi-Fi to access TaxSlayer production site ever. We must follow through with password requirements, never posting our passwords on or near a computer, store equipment in secure places, and immediately notify your site coordinator, your local site coordinator, if your computer is stolen or lost, or if any taxpayer data is stolen or lost. Just an aside on the scope piece, it's really important that we do not do anything on tax returns that is outside of our training. And how is that a problem? Well, all of us know how to do things that are not part of our training on tax returns because maybe it was part of our personal experience. Maybe it's comes up on a situation for a return that we do for a friend. But just because we know how to do it does not mean that we are allowed to do it. Remember, if it's out of scope, if we don't train on it, then we're not allowed to do it. Program guidelines. I'm not sure how much of the rest of this I want to go through. Oh, okay, I'm just going to go with this. What happens if we, if you know, these are like no-brainers. If we have run into a taxpayer that has a disability, well, of course we help them as much as possible. If we have an upset taxpayer, then we like move off to a quiet area, notify the local coordinator, you know, try to quell the situation as quickly and as easily as possible. If it becomes a total problem, then we have to use our incident protocol and file a report. And that's what this is. And I'm really not going to go over a whole lot of this with you today. These are different reasons why we might want to do it. This is how you can do it and where it goes to. It goes from the local coordinator to the district coordinator to this, you know, that, remember that big flow chart I showed you at the very beginning? That's what this is about. So when will we submit an incident report? If a volunteer is injured, is arrested, is alleged to have sexually harassed, or a volunteer or taxpayer is alleged to be overly aggressive, engages in inappropriate fiscal business, violates policies. Submit an incident report if a volunteer or taxpayer causes damage at your site, becomes ill at the site, has an accident involving a taxpayer at the site, or if a taxpayer is asked to leave the site or you have to call the police. I know this has happened in all the years. This will be my 13th year, and I've never had, I've never known to have to write up a report on a taxpayer. I had one make me cry once, and that's a whole story in itself. But there was really no reason for me to submit an incident report. Our conflict of interest happens at times. You can read this. Reminders. We may not decline to serve an in-scope taxpayer because of age or income or race or ethnicity or religion or gender or political preferences or for any other similar reasons. But if you don't feel comfortable serving a taxpayer, then pass that taxpayer off to someone else at your site. We may not wear a candidate's campaign button or support for advocate for any political party, candidate, or position while at our tax site. And of course, we may not even participate in activities on behalf of a political candidate. Because we don't want anybody to think that AARP might be endorsing them. All right, these are just reviews. Right, any questions out there?
I have one.
Go ahead, Steve.
The COVID mask wearing thing. What's the policy again?
We will be wearing masks. We'll be going over that again on Wednesday and Thursday when we're having full meeting. We all will be wearing masks all the time at the site. We cannot require the taxpayers to be wearing masks, but I would guess the majority of them will be, especially when they see all of us wearing masks. We also are required to be vaccinated, but it's an honor system.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Any other questions? Okay. All right, now let's I'm going to have you go to another website now and take your test because I think you have enough information to do it. And it's an open book test. So in as much as you probably don't have a book there, it's like if you have a question, just ask. When you go to another tab on your computer, you will still be able to hear me. So I am going to go to the website that I want you to go to, and you click on another tab on your computer right now, and I'll tell you what website to go to. It is called www.linklearncertification.com. So go ahead and do that right now, and I'm going to do it on my computer as well. And if you're at that website, you come on back over to the room for a second. You can check to make sure if you got to the correct website or not. Just click on the meeting room and see the website where I am, and that should be where you are also. If you're having difficulty, let me know.
So how do we log in? Username, password.
All right, just let me tell you a little bit about this website once. Before we log in, we can see a lot of things that are here. There's instructor tools, there's quick links, there's like places here where you could come and get some presentations on tax law and really learn about it if you like to. This is not my preferred website, but it's still a very good resource. It is put up by the IRS. And I believe that what you would learn here is going to be just what's in our scope. Even though it's an IRS website, it is just for VITA and TCE. We are TCE. So, okay, so let's make a login now. So go ahead to click on create account. If you already created your account, you can just go ahead and log in. But you want to click on create an account. And now you should see in red where it says self-registration. The first one you want to pick is number 2. You're a TCE AARP volunteer. You don't need to do, and well, you're definitely saying no to the next question. Are you a site coordinator, taking the site coordinator certification? Are you an instructor? No. Are you an IRS Spec Territory Manager? No. Do you plan to volunteer in the VITA TCE program? Yes. Your training source is, just pick one, either Lincoln Learn Taxes or Publication 4491. And then put in your first name, your last name, create a username, create a password, something you're going to remember. I sent you an email yesterday with an attachment so that you have a sheet where you can record your usernames and passwords. Confirm your password. Must be at least 8 characters long. That's all. It doesn't have to be, and it's case sensitive, but you don't have to have uppercase, you don't have to have special characters, you don't have to have numbers. Then put in your email address wherever you want to be receiving information, because that's where a link will be sent if you need to recover a password. Enter your address. I don't know why they want a time zone on there. We are GMT -05. And then actually, and where it says years volunteered, put 1. Always put in the number for the year that you are coming to. And you need to come in here once a year and change that number. You do not need a PTIN. You do not need anything else there. You can just click on register. How about raising your hand when you are finally in?
I apologize. I was busy putting my creating a username and password, and everything else you said, I couldn't really listen to. So.
No, that's okay. I'm sorry. I just, when I'm sitting in this room all by myself and I don't hear any other noise, it's like I need to fill the space with sound, I guess. Sorry.
So I've gotten just. Maybe I'm reflecting everybody else. Maybe it's just me, but I got as far as my username and password and my email, and I got my address in there. And then after that, I don't know what you said.
Okay, so tell me what other fields you might be struggling with.
Well, time zone.
I'm the same. I need all of them.
Okay.
I got lost also.
I'm sorry.
Margaret. Sorry.
Okay. Let me come back.
Maybe log out and log back in. Yeah, okay.
This is so much easier when I'm in the same room with you because there, I got it now. Because then I can just walk around and look over your shoulder. So create account. Okay, I'm going to start at the very beginning of create an account. Pick number 2. Excuse me?
Pat, the screen we're seeing right now says DuckDuckGo,
Okay, wait, thanks. Why does it say that?
because we're on a new tab. You may need to stop presenting and share again. We've had that
I
problem
guess
before.
so. Oh, okay, this never happened to me.
Oh, now it's, oh, okay.
Is it there?
Whatever you did just before you closed it out, it came back. So try it again.
Yeah, but I think I clicked on stop sharing now. So, okay, so,
Try share again.
okay.
There you are.
Okay. All right,
Okay, so
I am
now you're
in,
now you're
I'm,
on the registration screen.
okay, I'm at the very first page of the registration screen, self-registration. In the very first item, pick number 2 because you are TCE AARP volunteer. And then there are 4 yes/no questions, and the only one that you want to choose yes on is the 4th one. You may pick either one for your training source, either Lincoln Learn Taxes or Pub 4491. I don't even know why this question is on here, what its relevance is. And then your first name, your last name. Pick a username. A password, 8-digit minimum. And it can be pretty much anything you want. There are no stipulations for uppercase, lowercase, numbers, special characters. Then put in the email address that you would want to be able to use if you ever needed to recover this password. When you're ready, add your address. Telephone number is not required. It's up to you. The time zone is always GMT plus 5. I don't even know why they need this. We don't write anything at all in the partner organization name. For years you have volunteered, select 1 if this is your going to be your first year. Always come into your account every year and update your number by 1. This number does get printed on your volunteer agreement form. And that's all. There's no other fields there that we need to fill out. So now you can just click on register. And I'm going to get signed in because, okay, so after you register, then I think it's going to bring you back to this page and you will have to sign in using the new information, the username and the password that you just created. The only reason we need to sign in is if we want to go take a test. Because we can come out here and freely use all the other learning tools.
And Pat, if I might,
Hey,
just to present the other side to what Pat just said, there are two ways of doing the test. One is through Lincoln Learn, and the other is on paper, which you would submit to your local coordinator for review. The advantage of doing on Lincoln Learn is it's relatively quick and easy. The advantage of doing it on paper is that the local coordinator can work with you in terms of teaching you those areas that require more study.
and so my preferred way is to take the test on paper first. I actually take the test and the retest on paper, and then I come into the computer and submit my answers electronically. So this should be what your screen looks like now, except that, you can see that it shows that I've already passed a couple of the tests, and I would come here to get these tests, and if I click on basic, I can see them there again, and if I click on, you can see you can't take the basic test, which we're never going to take the basic test because we're required to take the advanced test. If you want, you can take the basic test for practice, but it doesn't count for anything that we absolutely need. So when you are ready, though, you can click on the advanced test and take the test that way there just by clicking on these. You must take volunteer standards of conduct first. You must take intake, interview, quality review next before you can take the advanced test. Afterwards, you come over here to the right and you sign your volunteer agreement by clicking here. And then you can click here to open it, print it, do all that other good stuff. Don't bother printing these certificates. They're very pretty if you like hanging them on your wall, but they will not suffice for anything as far as a requirement goes. So once you've passed all your tests, then you might want to, well, then you don't want, not might, you will have to submit the certificate that you get from this spot here and download it, save it to your computer, send it off to your local coordinator for a signature.
Pat, just, if I might, one other point.
Yeah.
At the top of the page, you'll see that there are tabs: Circular 230, Basic, Advanced, Military, International, Puerto Rico. Those are different tests that you actually could take. If you live in Puerto Rico, you need to take the Puerto Rico test. If you deal with international clients, you take the international test. If you deal with military people, you take the military test. Okay, we don't deal with any of those, so you never need to worry about those tabs. The tab you should click on is the Advanced tab, not the Circular 230, not the Basic. The Advanced tab will show you the tests that you need to take, which I assume Pat is going to go into in a second.
Excuse me, what am I supposed to tell them? I was like,
The list you see on the page here in front of you, you have the volunteer standards.
right,
You have the quality review test.
yeah,
There's a site coordinator test, which you guys don't need to take.
right,
And then there is, if you click on the advanced, this will say advanced exam.
right.
So click on the advanced tab only and just do the tests that are on that tab.
Right. Yeah, if you come straight to advanced, then you'll see everything that you need to take.
Right.
Except we don't take the QEV one.
Nor the site coordinator one.
Oh yeah, sorry, I took the site coordinator one because I'm a site coordinator. But we
Right.
don't take QEV. Some people do. There again, just for practice. It's just about practicing. But
Just one-
we aren't required.
One more explanation.
Okay.
QEV is something they introduced this year.
Last year.
Last year? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Last year, it is, again, not a test you are required to take. If feel free to take it if you wish, but it has no bearing whatsoever on being able to work with AARP. And I'll be quiet.
Okay, so if any test you don't pass, don't come back here and take it a second time. Take it on paper instead. Because if you come back here and take it a second time and don't pass, then you're done. We cannot certify you. So which means you can't work with us for the year. So if you miss on the first time, that's okay. Do your second try on paper and submit it to your local coordinator on paper. All right, anybody have any questions?
Sorry, do you want us to be taking that first test right now?
Absolutely, go ahead. I didn't say it yet. I was going to answer questions first, but yeah, teacher, go ahead. Okay, yeah, whenever you're ready, go ahead and click on 2021 Volunteer Standards of Conduct exam and go through the 10 questions. I really feel that you're going to do fine on it. So, no hesitation, just go ahead and do it. If you feel reluctant and you just want to wait a day or two, that's fine too.
Kimberly, you have your hand up?
Excuse me?
Oh, I thought I saw Kimberly's hand.
No, she had asked us to raise our hands when we had gotten through the login process.
Okay, all right. So you're the only one that can put your hand back down again.
Sounds good.
I ask a quick question?
Go ahead.
Once we were completed, it gave me a score, and do I just close the tab or anything else to do?
At the present time, no. Let's wait for Pat to come back.
Sorry, Pat's back. What?
Okay. Steve Elmore has finished the exam.
Oh, great. And you passed.
And did you pass?
I did.
Yay!
Step one.
Yep.
One small step for mankind.
Steve, to answer your question, on the upper right-hand corner, there's a little X where you can close the window. You shouldn't close the tab.
Okay, so it's already recorded it and all that stuff.
Yeah. If you close that, you'll live happily ever after.
Okay, yep, got me in there. Okay. Thank you.
So I need a signal for when you're done taking your test. Does everybody want to raise their hand? And when I see
I have a question, Pat.
Okay.
Are we just doing the first one or we're doing all of them?
No, we're just doing the very first one. That's all the information I gave you.
Okay.
And this was about, receiving information on your part and learning how to go to the website where we take our tests, and also learning how to go to the website where you can get other information if you want it. So everyone is going to raise their hand when they're ready to move forward.
So you probably already said this, but I was immersed in trying to do this thing. So we're going to take all of our tests from this place. Is that correct?
That's right. That's correct. Mm-hmm. And you have to click on the advanced tab to see the advanced test when it's time. Every year we get that question. It's like, I can't see the test. It's not out there. It's like, you need to click on the tab that says advanced.
Let me repeat what Pat said a couple of minutes ago, though. You take the test only after you've done it on paper and your LC has said, yes, you've passed. Because if you don't do it that way, there's a chance of your being locked out, and there's nothing we can do about that.
We just don't go out there and take it a second time.
So where do we get the paper version?
It's in a booklet called number 6744.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
Okay.
I have it.
Yeah.
And so how do we get somebody to review it or test it or score it for us?
Your local coordinator might have that, or you can scan it and send it to me and I can review it because I have the answers.
May I also, Pat, can I chime in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, in the 6744, which you all should have, on page, it's weird this year, on pages 8 and 9, on page 8, is the test answer sheet. The suggestion is to fill that out and send that as a PDF or however, whatever's convenient for you to do. Take a picture of it on your phone and text it to your LC. And once the local coordinator has passed the test, either that I've approved them or Pat has approved them, then they will be able to work with you to make sure that you understand all the questions and the implications of the answers. Is that a polite way to say it? The test itself is on, and then when you're all done, on page 21, there's form 13615, which is the part where you sign and the LC signs proving that you are legitimate and worthy of working with the AARP tax aid. I'm sorry, that's sarcasm, by the way. The test itself is the standards of conduct you all are doing. The intake and interview questions, which you can't take yet, is on page 24. And the advanced test starts on page 74, it looks like. Yeah. Starts on page 74. Feel free to write in the book. And some of four of the problems require that you actually do a return in TaxSlayer in the practice lab. And we'll get to that.
So because of that, you're not nearly ready to even start the test yet.
Nope.
And we're not expecting you to. I just wanted you to know where to take it when you're ready.
I haven't really looked at this book yet, so this book is just the test
That's right.
material itself. Okay.
It's the test answer sheets, retest, and also the volunteer agreement is in there. If you take and pass your tests online, you can just print the volunteer agreement from that page.
So just a test. If we do we're doing the test online after we've done it on paper. And if we can't finish, can we come back to it or?
Yes. It allows you to answer some questions and then sign off, and then answer some questions and sign off until you get them all done. You can even skip questions and come back to them. And then at the very end, when you click submit, then they're gone, and that's your number one test take.
Okay, all right. Okay, so only so we can print it out before we submit it then, and then kind of look at it more carefully.
I don't know if you could print it out or not.
Well, there's ways to print it out, I can tell you.
Okay.
Because I almost did it. Just in case people don't know, you can copy it.
Right.
To the paste buffer, then throw it in a Word document and print it from there.
Right. You can always screen print it and put it in a Word document.
No,
Yeah.
There's an easier way. When you take the test, the last screen you will get will be a summary of all your answers, and it will ask you, and only at the bottom of that screen does it say submit. If you print that page, it gives you the questions, it gives you the options, it gives you what you answered it. If you print that page and don't hit submit, you can then review it and make sure that everything is hunky-dory.
Cool, that's a great way to do it, yeah.
So, and that is true on all of the tests, or at least it was when I took it. So I assume it is true for everybody.
That'll be useful.
Okay, I see 5 hands up now. And I'm hoping to get about 10 hands up. 6 are up.
Well,
7 are up. 8 are up.
good. Edith and Leslie.
Okay, let's, we're gonna take a break now, it's 11:05, let's come back at 11:15. Does that work for everyone?
We can just stay logged in, right?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, don't leave, don't leave.
Yeah, you can leave your chair, get up, move around, rest your eyes. This is really hard on the eyes to do this, so yeah, see you back at 11:15.
Hi.